Hello, Macroeconomics students. We are now in week 6 and we are quickly approaching the end of the course. Only about 3 more weeks to go. So just keep plugging along and think about future writing assignments, getting ready for the quizzes each week, the forum discussions, and final exam. This week we're going to look at chapter 26. It kind of wraps up a little bit of macroeconomic theory with aggregate demand, aggregate supply analysis. You're going to look at the neoclassical approach. And as you kind of look through the chapter, you'll notice that the aggregate supply curve is what we call like perfectly inelastic. A lot of what the neoclassical looks at and believes in is that there are these fluctuations in the market, but we're always kind of eventually working our way towards a sustainable unemployment rate, and that we really shouldn't be doing any fine-tuning so much as the Keynesian approach. Some of the concern might be that it leads more to inflation and price levels. And with the neoclassical model, its idea is that less government intervention, low taxes, kind of a laissez-faire approach, almost that we should hope that we have long-term adjustments and that wages and other factors will adjust. And this can be an issue sometimes because wages tend to be sticky, but if they were allowed to adjust, we would get back to the equilibrium more quickly. And that's a big debate between Keynesian philosophy and classical philosophy, where Keynes had said, in the long run we're going to be all dead, so we need to do something now. So some other things we also will talk about in that chapter is rational expectations. That's a little bit about with theory. Rational expectations would be like the idea that if you go to a football game and you stand up, well, probably everybody else is going to have to stand up too to see. So it's only if somehow we can convince or do something policy-wise that impact real changes, policy is not going to matter as much. They're going to see through these items. So wrap up with the aggregate demand, aggregate supply analysis with chapter 26. When you get into chapter 27, I think it gets a little bit more interesting because we start talking about the money supply and what constitutes money. You'll read about fiat and commodity money. And essentially to have money, it has to have 3 functions to me. It has to have a store of value, a medium of exchange, and a unit of account. So credit cards may sound like money, but the problem with credit cards is that they don't have that store of value. If you put it under your mattress, the bank can always deny that credit in the future. So only, think about truly being money, it has to have that store of value. Okay, so some of the other things you're also going to look in this chapter is the money multiplier, the idea that how banks create money. This goes all the way back to the Renaissance time period with the Italian bankers, and it kind of worked like this. If you had 100 gold florins, you kept them on your mattress, it didn't do anybody good. You took the 100 gold florins to the banco, the form of banking. Now the bank has 100 gold florins and you have 100 gold florins. Then, if the bank lends those 100 gold florins out, then the borrowing party has 100 gold florins, the bank has 100 gold florins, and you have 100 gold florins. So the magic of banking is not that it creates more physical money, it is that it creates more loans, and that's the loan process. And when you're going to look at the money multiplier in that chapter, it's going to be 1 over the reserve requirement rate. So if there's a reserve requirement of 0.10, then 1 divided by 0.10 is going to give a 10. So if you had a $1,000 deposit, it will show the potential that it could increase to $10,000, going from $1,000 to $10,000, $9,000 increase. Again, this is a simplified money multiplier, and it assumes that people put the money back into the banking system. Reality is that probably people hold on to some form of cash too, so that multiplier process would be less. So that's pretty much it for this week. I'm going to keep it brief on the video lecture, but do email me if you have any questions about the concepts or homework questions. But really enjoyed the forum discussion this past week. I'm looking forward to this forum discussion this week. We're going to have a little question about payments. And I'm interested to hear from you all how you make payments. I pretty much buy everything with a credit card to get the rewards. Occasionally I'll pay a few things with cash, but I hardly ever have cash in my wallet. And occasionally the wife will rip out a check to pay something at the school or the PTA, but we very rarely cycle through any checks. So, and I know there are smartphones out there and other mobile payment technologies. So I want you to do a little bit of research too, what you think the transition is going to be to how people make payments in the future. Maybe it's going to be totally different than what we expect, but I'm curious to get your thoughts. So Have a great week, and I will talk to you online. Take care.